In the boat will hit the silver screen all across the country. It showcases the University of Washington men's crew team that went on to win gold at the 1936 Olympics in Berlin.
We dug into our archives and found a report honoring the crew team back in 1986, the 50th anniversary of their Olympic victory. Here's King 5's Mike Carter with the original story as it aired on King 5 News that evening.
The Berlin Olympics, the Nazi Olympics, the last Olympics before World War II. The goodwill of athlete and spectator masked a deeply troubled Europe. Even the French gave a Nazi salute as they marched into Brandenburg Stadium. 4 years later, Hitler was marching into Paris. Among the parade of athletes, 500 Americans, 9 of them from the University of Washington. They were oarsmen who hardly noticed a world on the brink of war. For them, Adolf Hitler was just a curiosity.
As he marched down there, all of these contestants and from other nations all stood at attention and very rigid and formal. When he got to us, we all broke ranks so we could see him closer.
These boys from Washington came to win a crew race, to win the gold. In the field of 8, the German crew was favored. The Americans were given the worst lane. The Americans' lead man, Don Hume, was rowing with pneumonia. While the world watched the Italian boat, 9 men from Washington picked up their stroke.
There's America way over there. Just in front, the win by a yard. Italy second, Germany third.
Victory was a brief diversion for these Americans. Children of the Depression, they returned to a country which offered no guarantees. But they attacked their careers with the same confidence and strength it took to win in Berlin.
Difference between winning and coming in second is maybe 1/10 of 1%. So if you want to get to the top, or if you want to win your lawsuit, or if you want to do anything successfully, you have to spend an awful lot of time to get an edge of 1/10 of 1%.
As attorney, Ernest Mock has been winning in and out of courtrooms for 40 years. Getting to this corner office on the 40th floor took a coxswain's drive and ingenuity.
Judgment, letter 4.
Crew remains his first love. He coached at Washington before getting his law degree, and his teammates, like his memories, are still dear to him.
This is a great group of guys.
Admiration and respect remain the crew's common denominators, not only for each other, but for Al Ulbrichtson, their coach. Through long hours on Lake Washington, Ulbrichtson imprinted a strength of body and mind that remains.
I think when you're in top physical shape, you have a certain bounce and elan and feeling about you, confidence level and so on. That's very pleasant. Very, you feel like it's a good world.
His first career required uncommon intelligence. A chemical engineer during World War II, Joe Rance kept B-17s rolling off the assembly lines. His second career requires uncommon strength. He tosses tree trunks as though they were twigs. Rance builds and installs wood fences, a trade he learned from a Squim farmer during the Depression. Today, business is booming, and he's as hardy as ever. Being an Olympic oarsman gave him strength and an insight for success.
The understanding that absolute cooperation is the only way you can have 8 people putting an oar in the water at the same time, And if you're in business, you can't be pulling 2 ways at once and be successful in an organization either.
They pulled in the same direction in 1936. That was the only way to win so difficult a race.
Yes, it was a tough race. I think it's probably the hardest I ever worked in my life, and I always vowed if I worked that hard again, I'd make $1 million, but I've never been able to work that hard. So,
Jim McMillan remained closest to the sport. He coached MIT's varsity crew for 17 years. In a den decorated with crew memorabilia, he remembers a race at Henley-on-Thames, long days practicing in Lake Union fog, and Charles Day the one teammate who's dead.
He was my closest friend of the crew. He was a very carefree sort of person, yet very serious, and he was a winner.
They're all winners. Not so much because of a race that was 50 years ago, but because of the fellowship and success that grew out of rowing and winning at the Berlin Olympics. It seems only natural then that they would return here to Lake Washington, where it all began.
Yeah, get over as far as you can. I mean, normally we can get an 8-oar crew across there. Let's, you get down there, Bob, and we'll see how it looks.
Last Friday, they gathered to replenish their memories and love for the sport that brought them together. Every 10 years, the remaining crew members take their Olympic boat, the Husky Clipper, from its shelf. These reunions are family affairs, where the past is remembered, but the present celebrated.
Happy birthday, Shorty.
Ready?
Okay.
Ready, go! Go!
I'll be tired. It jumps on the catch. Hey, what do you know? That felt pretty good. That felt pretty good.
50 years ago, they went to Berlin in search of gold, but found something more. 9 boys gained lifelong friendships and a confidence that can only come from being the best in the world, at least once. Mark Carter, top story.
So great we can pull those stories from our archives. The Olympic gold medal victory still celebrated all these years later. As you know, the book, The Boys in the Boat, by Daniel Brown, was published in 2014, bringing the story to the global audience. Now, of course, it is a movie. There's also a special exhibit currently at Mohai featuring artifacts from the team and the Pocock wooden rowing shell, similar to the boat used to win that gold medal.
I hope the movie's half as good as that story was.
Wasn't it great? I love it.
Oh, fantastic. All right, let's give me a live look